Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back. I'm not going to do the whole YouTube spiel thing because I've been doing that so much lately, but I just wanted to put up one more final video about this Friday the 13th franchise that I've been revisiting. Not like Part 4 where they said it was Final Friday and then they, made another one, and not, Part 9 where it was supposed to be over. Then he came back for that too. But yeah, so this has been a very interesting experience revisiting all these films. Like I said in the previous videos, I had seen all of these before. Usually right around the time when they came out, but I had revisited a lot of them over the years, but for some of them it had been well over a decade since I'd even seen them. So in years past, around Halloween time especially, I start queuing up a lot of horror movies, and I would always be going through at least the first 2 or 3 Friday the 13th films, occasionally put on Part 6. See, I even have my little autographed mask here by CJ Graham, who played Jason in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. So I've always been a fan of the franchise. But since some of them I hadn't seen in so long, I really wanted to revisit them in a relatively short amount of time. So it was about maybe 6 or 7 weeks that I went through, I will say, all 10 of the films. I know that we have Freddy vs. Jason and the remake to address as well, but just in that original first 10 from 1 up to Jason X. So, interestingly, I still think that the first 3, actually the first 4 are must-see. They got a really good arc kind of going on there as we go from Jason's mom to the bag on the head to getting the mask to, Tommy killing him, like actually killing him and everything. I really love seeing that first one, seeing where that franchise started and where slasher films were kind of getting more popular. Of course, we had stuff like Halloween before this and a few other films. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but seeing this idea kind of, really coming to the forefront, and then seeing where they built off of that was great. I loved that fact that you kind of get surprised, especially looking back if you're enjoying this series for the first time. You're like, oh, it was not even Jason in the first one. That's interesting. Oh, he doesn't even have the mask in the second one. And then the third one finally gets it. So it was really interesting to kind of go back and think of what it would be like experiencing all that for the first time. But with all that being said, I'd probably say that aside from the nostalgia of the first one, seeing where it all began, I think Part 4 is probably my favorite. I think Corey Feldman did an excellent job. I loved seeing him actually taking out Jason and killing him. Crispin Glover and that just weird dead fuck dance that he was doing just always sticks out in that one. Now, I did enjoy the other ones as well. Part 5, has its pros and cons to it, is an interesting change to things. Part 6, I absolutely loved that. The step that they took was this leap into almost like a zombie Jason in a way, by having him brought back to life by being struck by lightning. Really interesting stuff. And as I've said in the other videos, they really took some big swings with the last 4, with Girl with Psychic Power, going to New York, going to hell, and it being almost like more about a possession, than anything else, and then going literally 450 years into the future. They were really trying to get as much as they could out of the series, and I think in some ways, for some of those films, certain things worked really well, and certain things really fell flat. But the thing about those last 4 films that stick out the most, of course, is Kane Hodder. It's really strange that, no offense to CJ, he's my favorite Jason, but he's not in my favorite Friday the 13th films. It's really strange stuff, but overall, I really enjoyed everything, checking all these out. And of course, coming up next, I'm going to be doing the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I'm probably going to divide those up into about 3 or 4 videos as well, doing the first 3, the ones that I'm the most familiar with. Going back and revisiting 4, 5, and 6 for the first time in probably 20 years. And then going back to Part 7, which I haven't seen New Nightmare in a really, really long time. Once I'm done with all that, then we'll do that Freddy vs. Jason, and then we'll address some of those remakes. See how was the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I remember enjoying, pros and cons to that one as well. I love the direction that they took with it. The Friday the 13th remake, which I don't remember much about, and then go into some others like, Fright Night, and maybe even some non-horror ones like, RoboCop maybe. I don't know, we'll throw some other titles out there. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming by and checking out all these videos, and I hope that you enjoyed them. And I look forward to producing some new content coming up soon. I'm going to try to stick to some other schedules of getting more of that classic horror, like the old Hammer films that I've been kind of finishing up those Dracula films before moving on to Frankenstein and The Mummy and some of the one-offs that they had, as well as some of the old Universal horror films that I haven't seen in a really long time. So be sure to subscribe, of course, like, all that stuff, and hit that bell icon so you get notifications for when I put up that content. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in that next one.